Rabbit snails are a lot like Malaysian trumpet snails, but they don't become an infestation in your tank. They're very special and quite rare because you don't find them in all stores in all countries. But when you do, you'll definitely be impressed with the size because they turn out to be pretty big. In fact, they don't stop growing until they die. These snails are very peaceful freshwater aquarium snails that come from the Sulawesi lake system in Indonesia. There are a lot of different varieties of snails. They come in a lot of colors. I've got yellow rabbit snails, but you also have red, brown, and even other colors. And that makes them very interesting. Now, in this video, I want to tell you how to take proper care of your rabbit snails, or if you're thinking about getting rabbit snails, I want to prepare you so you can take care of them in your aquarium and you can even breed them in the future. So like I said, they're very peaceful snails. They won't harm anything in your tank except for Java fern. They tend to eat Java fern, which is a downside, but I've got Java fern and rabbit snails in this tank, and the Java fern is still doing pretty good. When it comes to food, these snails are very good scavengers. They like to dig around the substrate in order to find food, but you can't rely on them finding food by themselves. So you've got to supplement by giving extra algae wafers or anything that contains spirulina. So basically plant-based food and sinking wafers. But you can also feed them vegetables, anything like cucumber, lettuce, anything that you feed, for example, shrimp or other snails, they will also enjoy very much. When it comes to substrate, you can keep these snails in either gravel substrate or fine sand. I've learned that they prefer fine sand because they are actually very active and they like to dig through the sand, and with fine sand it works a little bit better than with gravel. So that's always preferred fine sand, but you can keep them in gravel too. For tank mates, make sure you keep them in a peaceful aquarium. So they do have a hatch door or trap door which protects them when they're being harassed by other fish, but it's best to keep them in a peaceful tank. If you've got assassin snails in your aquarium, then they won't eat the larger rabbit snails. When the assassin snails are not hungry, then you don't have to worry about your rabbit snails. However, when the rabbit snails produce young or baby or small rabbit snails, then those will become prey to the assassin snails. So the population won't increase. And if you're unlucky, then the assassin snails might also take down a larger rabbit snail. When it comes to water parameters for the rabbit snail, they prefer a little bit warmer water, they prefer hard water, and a little bit alkaline water. These are the parameters that you try and stick to. I've read about people keeping them in more acidic water, so around a pH of 7.8 or 6.8 to 7, and there they're doing fine. My aquarium also is a little bit more acidic, so around 7.2, so it's alkaline, but it's not the pH 8. So my recommendation for you is do not pursue the perfect pH. It's better to keep the pH as stable as possible because that will keep them from becoming too stressed out. So don't pursue pH by constantly trying to change it towards the perfect pH value. A lot of people don't really like snails in their aquarium because they can reproduce like crazy and take over your tank. Well, luckily with rabbit snails this is not the case. They're a lot like Malaysian trumpet snails, but unlike other snails, they do have a gender. So it's not that any snail can become either male or female, but you have to be lucky when you buy your first couple of snails if you want to reproduce them, or if you want to breed them, that there is a male and female. So you have the best chance if you buy a group of 3 to 4, and then if you're lucky there's at least one male and one female. Rabbit snails, unlike other snails, do not lay eggs. Instead, they are live-bearing snails. This means that the female snail gives birth to a live baby. For us, that means that they can't scatter around dozens of eggs in our aquarium, and it will take around 3 to 4 weeks for a female to develop one baby and give birth to one baby. Most of the times it's just one baby snail, but there can be 2 baby snails. When it comes to tank mates, make sure you keep rabbit snails in a peaceful aquarium with no fish that see the snails as prey, so no large predatory fish that eat snails. I would recommend keeping it in a community tank. Very good tank mates are shrimp, for example. There are Sulawesi shrimp as well, and they make very good tank mates for the rabbit snail. If you're ready to learn more about freshwater fish keeping, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Leave a like if you liked the video, and if you've got any questions, comment them below and I'll make sure to answer them for you. Cheers!